Welcome to World Transits Today. I'm Art Granoff. Connect with me at referenceastrology.com, in the library, where you can find reference material about archetypal astrology. And you can also check out some videos that I made about archetypal astrology. So today, we start off with Stan Grof's map of the psyche. It's pretty simple once it's deciphered. Up top here is regular consciousness, ordinary consciousness, then personal ordinary unconscious. Then perhaps we slide down the hourglass, take psychedelics, do some breath work, some other powerful method to open up the psyche, and we may regress down to the perinatal level of life, the perinatal realm of life, around birth, the moment of birth. And that also correlates with the astrological chart, moment of birth. Then from there, we go to the transpersonal, bigger than us, opens us to karmic memories, collective memories, mythological experiences in the archetypal dimension. Here's Stan Grof's 4 basic perinatal matrices decoded. The first one, everything seems to be okay. BPM 2, this guy doesn't look too good. Everything's not okay. And BPM 3, still not okay, intense. And 4, wow, we made it out. Then in the mid 1970s, Rick Tarnas came along with some astrology. He found out that the 4 basic perinatal matrices matched the same descriptions of the 4 outer planets in astrology. BPM 1, just hanging out in the womb. Everything seems to be okay. Relates to Neptune. No boundaries. Cosmic unity. Saturn, BPM 2, limitations, repression, stuck in the birth canal, frustration. Saturn. And BPM 3, the struggle, trying to get out, the intensity, the clashing energies. Pluto. And then 4, we made it. Freedom. Uranus, the death rebirth experience. So archetypal astrology is about developing archetypal intelligence, using universal patterns connected to planets that guides us in our daily life, culture, and history. The birth chart tells our personal story about our potential, patterns, strengths and challenges, and tensions that may help us grow. And the planets are meaningful symbols. Meaningful symbols. Saturn shows us where we get stuck and learn things. Uranus brings sudden changes and new ideas. And Neptune connects to dreams and letting go. And Pluto relates to power and deep transformation. Stan Grof's chart, full of power and transformation. So archetypal astrology, again, is about developing archetypal intelligence. It's a fresh way of seeing time. And how it works. It provides symbols that help make sense of experience. Shows hidden patterns in life's events. And offers a perspective beyond personal history. And with all that in mind, please let's welcome 2 major outer planet alignments currently in the sky. Uranus trine Pluto, which is this purple guy here from 2022 to 2032, and Saturn conjunct Neptune for 3 years only, only 2024 to 2027. And if we notice, we see these 4 planets, Uranus and Pluto, and Saturn and Neptune. Hey, that relate to the 4 basic perinatal matrices. Uranus and Pluto trine, and Saturn and Neptune conjunction. So it's safe to say that during this period, for the next 10 years, and now for the next 3 years, they're both together, we may be experiencing major themes around these two alignments. For instance, Uranus and Pluto, again, is that's BPM3 Pluto and BPM4 Uranus. Uranus is about awakening and breakthroughs, and Pluto again is about power and rebirth. And together they symbolize a fresh revolution, intensified drive for freedom. And Saturn and Neptune, BPM 2 and 1. Saturn and Neptune. Saturn's about limitation, structure, and discipline. And Neptune loosens boundaries. It's about transcendence or confusion. And together, Saturn building dreams, Neptune, or tensions between what's real and unreal. Here they are together, Saturn and Neptune conjunction in the sky right now, today, and Uranus and Pluto trine. We're going to be coming back to these in a little bit. All month of April, we have the Sun, Mars, and Pluto. Again, all of April through May, through mid-May. Sun, Mars, and Pluto T-square. What's that about? The Sun is my center of identity, my individuality, my way forward in the world. And Mars is about initiation, about asserting boldly, about bold action, movement. So Sun with Mars would refer to someone who really feels the call to do something, really feels sparked up to act in some way. Okay. Then we have the Sun with Pluto. What's Pluto? BPM 3, intensity. Pluto is about compulsion. It's about when you're driven unconsciously to do something, when you're acting in a way that you don't even know you're doing it, but everybody else does around you. Also, Pluto is about finding your deep voice within, about hearing it inside, having it bubble up, get going like the volcano, get going, and then woo, eruption. Either in intense anger or perhaps some way to get that going through the arts, through music, through dance, through some type of way you can channel intensity. So it turns into a form of distinction that you're known for. Okay, Sun Pluto. And now we have Mars Pluto. Now this alignment's been around since October, and Mars has been retrograde, meaning it seemingly going backwards or standing still for a while. And this long Mars alignment, October through May. So we have Mars, again, Mars is force, aggression, initiative, getting going. And Pluto is intensity. Okay, Pluto is what's unconscious coming out, right? Either in a positive or negative way. So if we look at the world today, just as an example, with Mars and Pluto, we've got a couple of major wars overseas. We've got a major war going on in the United States, an ideological war going on. So this is a pretty darn intense time, I'd say. If we see over here on the horoscope, and this is for April 22nd, 23rd, this is when the alignment peaks. This is Sun, Mars, and Pluto T square. Okay, very powerful energies. I'd say just deep breath and just walk on by, keep going. Mars Pluto, archetypal pair in the world, in our lives. On the positive side, primal instincts activated, our intense drive, the willpower and courage. And on the shadow side would be aggressiveness, intense conflicts, and tyrannical behavior. You know anybody acting like that in the world? And we see in the United States, we've got Pete Hegseth, the Secretary of Defense, and he's got Sun Mars and Sun Pluto. So we'll give him a Mars Pluto alignment. We've got Robert Kennedy Jr., the Health and Human Services Secretary. He's a character. He's got Mars trine Pluto. We've got Elon Musk, born 1971. His job is the richest man in the world. And he's got Mars square Saturn. So we'll give him it for Pluto. Saturn has Pluto light. He's a pretty intense guy. And Steve Witkoff, Trump's international representative, and he's got Mars trine Pluto as well. It's a pretty heavy cast of characters. In the Russia-Ukraine war, we've got Vladimir Putin, born 1952, the Russian president. He's got Mars trine Pluto. And there's Zelensky, born 1978, the former Ukraine president. You know, he's dropped elections, so he just decided to stay as president. Sound familiar? He's got Pluto opposite Mars personal transit. So he doesn't have Mars Pluto in his chart per se, but he's got this long Pluto Mars transit, which started before 2022 and probably will be going on when the war's over, hopefully before 2027. There's those guys. And then on the Gaza-Israel side, we have Benjamin Netanyahu, born 1949, the Prime Minister of Israel. He's got the conjunction. Kill them all. And we have Joe Biden, born 1942, the former US president. He's got the square. And his buddy, Anthony Blinken, 1962, the former Secretary of State. He has Mars trine Pluto. Whew. Keep going. And of course, President Trump. Now, this is interesting. If you notice in his chart, there it is over there, President Trump, he's got, see in the circle, he's got Mars, Pluto, Venus, and Saturn. Okay, so the main things we're looking at are three planets. Mars, Pluto, and Saturn. Now, we notice that Pluto at 10 and Mars at 26 is too wide for a conjunction. And we notice that Saturn at 23 to Pluto at 10 is too wide for a conjunction. But if we look at the midpoint chart, right here on the right, we see here the space in between, exactly in between Mars and Saturn is Pluto. And there she is. So what I'm trying to say is, not only do those other cats have all this heavy Mars Pluto, but Mr. Cojones himself, President Trump, has Pluto is the midpoint between Mars and Saturn. Keep going. Also, great musicians with Mars and Pluto. You can always tell a great Mars-Pluto musician by their intense soloing style, by their distinction and power. And we can look as examples to Charlie Parker, the famous saxophonist, Mars trine Pluto. John Coltrane, born 1926, with Mars trine Pluto. Charles Lloyd, featured here on the right, still going strong at 85 years old. Born 1938, saxophone, Mars square Pluto. And Bob Weir, Bobby Ace Weir, guitar, born 1947, Mars conjunct Pluto. And Nels Cline, 1956, guitarist, born 1956, Mars square Pluto. But wait, there's more. If you remember, back in 2020, if we look at April 1st, 2020, which was 5 years ago, we had this new thing going on, this brand new thing happening, sometimes known as the pandemic, right? We had the COVID-19 pandemic. Now, some believe that happened. Some don't. What's the difference? Everyone was dying. It was chaos everywhere, confusion, death. So archetypally, it was happening for sure. We notice in the sky 5 years ago today, we had planet Saturn in conjunction with the planet Pluto, BPM 2 and BPM 3. The middle BPMs, if you notice, Neptune, everything's okay, BPM 1, and Uranus, everything seems to be okay. But all the intensity, the limitation and intensity, angst, suffering, all there in BPM 2 and 3. Saturn, Pluto conjunction. That's when wars start, when tough stuff happens. So we had a Saturn and Pluto conjunction. We also had Saturn with Mars. We talked about Mars for a while as aggression, as assertiveness, with Saturn, limitation, pain. So we had, it looks like, a Saturn, Mars, and Pluto conjunction. But wait, there's more. What about Jupiter in this four-planet conjunction? Jupiter expands, brings success. So maybe Jupiter expanded and brought success, all the intensity and frustration and death of the pandemic. So I just wanted to show you 5 years ago today, this very powerful four-planet alignment with Mars and Pluto. We see one more screen of Mars and Pluto. There it is in March and April of 2020 right there. We had those conjunctions, those three conjunctions, Mars and Jupiter, Mars and Pluto, and Mars and Saturn. And it was really going wild, right? The pandemic was really cooking. And then in the summer, notice again, there we're back. After the conjunction, here was the square. Mars Saturn, Mars Pluto, and Mars Jupiter, continuing those energies through the beginning of 2021. And if you remember, they were pretty darn intense. That's it for Mars Pluto. And now, let's look at some interplanet transits for April 2025. And when we look up top of the chart, we notice, you see these four planets, Mercury, Venus, Saturn, and Neptune in a conjunction. 4 planets out of 10 in a conjunction. It's probably important. Let's get into it. We've got the planet Mercury right there. Mercury relates to our mind and thinking and communicating. We could say it would be logos, logic. We have Venus, the planet of love, the planet of openness, of beauty, the planet of giving. So if we have planet Mercury, which is about our mind and communicating, and we have the planet Venus together in a conjunction, what could that be? Well, perhaps we could be using our mind and intellect to speak about, write about, or somehow communicate love, beauty, tenderness, right? Maybe whatever we're writing about, we can bring a sense of beauty to it. If we're teaching something, bring a sense of beauty, the beauty you feel inside that you know from your deep experiences. And we have another planetary pair here. We have Saturn conjunct with Neptune, which we've talked about a little bit, but we'll get into a little more. So if we have Mercury, we talked about Mercury with Venus. Let's talk about Mercury with Saturn. Okay? Saturn, bottom line, BPM 2, reality, what's real, what's pertinent at the time. So you could say Mercury with Saturn would be able to focus our minds on what's going on, reality in the world. It helps us to get by, get ahead. Mercury can be, again, your mind, the subject, and Saturn can be a track, so you can put your mind on a track, something practical. You could become a doctor, you could be a president, perhaps, or some type of important job where you can put your mind on a track and roll with it, keep going. Could also be limitation, because Saturn restricts some type of limitation on your mind. You just can't quite get it. You're trying to do something, you just can't get it. You're limited. Then we also have Mercury with Neptune. So Saturn binds and coagulates and tightens. Neptune, on the other hand, loosens, lets go, dissolves. Okay, so if you have the mind, Mercury, with Neptune, you don't want to be thinking about becoming a lawyer, that's for sure. You want to become a musician or a poet, or live your life like that in a way that you can use your mind in a creative passion and a creative idea that you can dive into and go with. But there's a shadow of that too. You could spend too much time in your imagination, too much time dreaming, and then you can't get things done. You can't get the practical things done. So, what I want to say so far with these four planets, if you notice, there's lots of different combinations and expressions that one can have through these. Let's just take it a little further. If we've got the planet Venus, say we have the planet Saturn with Venus. Saturn can either restrict, or Saturn is about accomplishment through time. Venus would be the heart, be love, beauty. So one motif that I mention often, would be the motif of the older couple standing around in the kitchen, stirring the oatmeal together. They've been through some tests and trials. They're doing okay. Saturn with Venus, okay? Or it could be the couple that's not doing okay. We have Venus with Neptune conjunction. If Venus is the human heart, think of Neptune as the divine opening. So in a way, Venus with Neptune is the love affair, is the hieros gamos between you, your heart, and the divine presence that you feel, or perhaps you will feel down the line if you keep working on it, because that's what it's about, working on it, frankly. Venus with Neptune, very nice. It's just like a love, 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 lots of love. But it could be too much love, so to say, which can open up parts of us that we'd rather not really think about. The times maybe we were hurt in love or didn't get what we wanted in love, and bring up the warehouse of hurts, as I say, which might not be bad if you're willing to work with them. So Venus, Neptune, very golden, very, very beautiful, a real grace. Try to feel it. So we have these four planets, Mercury, Venus, Saturn, and Neptune, all together, all through April. Wow, what could they bring? And let's see what else we got going on here, shall we? Let's look at this. If we add a trine, the trine's in here, we notice we have, of course, that I've mentioned a little bit today, Uranus trine Pluto. And also on the first today, we've got the moon trine Pluto. The moon's in a conjunction with Uranus right there. The open feelings, the opening of your emotions, perhaps. Good time for open emotions. Be clear. And then moon with Pluto. It's emotional catharsis, or perhaps emotional intensity. So watch out, when you get triggered by something, try to hold back. Don't let someone have it. Think about that today. We've got the planet Mars. Mars, again, would be initiation, would be assertiveness, would be your will going forward. So look who Mars is connected with all month. Wouldn't you know it? With these four planets, with Mercury, Venus, Saturn, and Neptune. See what we got here. Mercury with Mars. Mercury, again, your mind. Mars, assertion. We could say Mercury, Mars would be speaking your mind, communicating in a direct way. Or the shadow could be a little too direct or heating it up a little bit. We know what that is about, right? No, we wouldn't do that, of course, but other people might. We've got Mars with Neptune. Okay, Neptune BPM1, the transcendent release, wholeness. And Mars is moving. So we're moving towards wholeness. Hey. We've got Mars trine with Venus. Venus, the open heart. Mars, the warrior. Yin and yang meet. Could be positive or it could be warlike. You have to see. And Mars with Saturn. Mars is going forward, and Saturn is about stopping. Mars wants to go, but Saturn limits. So there could be troubles there. There could be trials. There could be you're trying to do something and you can't, and you get frustrated. And what do we do when we get frustrated? And that's the key, okay? If we do some inner work, if we're on a process of inner work through time, perhaps we can mitigate some of those intense feelings most of the time. Sometimes not. We're human beings. But that's the idea of doing inner work, doing meditation, something to connect you with your inner self so that when stress comes, when intensity comes, you can handle it a little better. That's really what it's about. And also, we have the planet Jupiter. And Jupiter is on Saturn. Jupiter expands and Saturn limits. Or Jupiter can be luxury goods. Jupiter, Saturn. So there's our horoscope, essentially, for April 2025. One thing I want to show you too is if I get rid of all these things a second. Another thing to mention, okay, with Mercury, Saturn, Venus, and Neptune. If Mercury's your mind, Saturn's time, and Neptune's the transcendent, you could say it's the perfect meditation alignment, alignment for doing meditation. And I say that, well, I'm a meditator, and check it out. In my chart, right there, I've got a similar setup, even though I have oppositions, not conjunctions. So if I have Mercury and Venus conjunction, and I have a Saturn Neptune conjunction, and they're opposite each other, it's the same thing, right? It's having these four planets together. Great for meditation. Even if you don't have it, try to learn meditation anyway. If you're not sure what to do, send me an email at referenceastrology@gmail, and I'll tell you how to do it, okay? Really. We have on the 12th of the month, just a few days away, the full moon, the sun, opposite moon, right there, and it's exactly full on the 12th at 5 p.m. here in Santa Rosa, California. What is the full moon? I think of it very basically in connection with all of the people that ever lived before me and all the people that are ever going to live after me. On full moon day, looking up and going, wow, or being afraid, whatever the culture calls for. Big deal. If there's two big deals every month, one is the full moon and the other is the new moon. And it goes on whether we're alive or dead, whether we're in this country or that country, or we speak this language or that language, whether we grab fruit out of the tree and eat it, or whether we're professional chefs in $1 million kitchen. The sun and the moon, twice a month, will show up as the full moon and the new moon. So participate. Get excited. I'm excited, as you can tell. Saturn Neptune. Here's the long form, all the stuff about it. And I'll leave this up here and I'll put a PDF in the notes. Okay, so you can look at it later. And here we are again, Saturn Neptune. This is the chart of today. And let's talk about some current Trump Saturn Neptune themes. We've got the USA constitutional crisis, the ideal versus the real. We have the threatening all day, Neptune, building boundaries, Saturn, the peace president, Neptune, more bombs delivered, Saturn, directly bullying, Saturn, with obliteration. I guess he's talking about Iran. Neptune, bringing chaos, Neptune, to established tradition, Saturn. And everybody's wrong, but he's the president. Saturn, Neptune. Is it this or is it that? Is it ideal statements or is it what happens after? Not just in these situations. What about in our own life? Think about it. Here's some more fun. If you notice here, we've got Saturn and Neptune that we've been talking about. And we have Uranus and Pluto in the trine there. If you notice, looks like they're all together, huh? And this is April 1st, 2025 in Santa Rosa. And what I'm going to do is show you over the next few months over here how tight this alignment gets. And these guys get too. I'm going to be featuring this over the next months as well. So April 1st, watch what happens when we go another month right there. Now, actually, you see that over here, Saturn is not connected to Pluto at the moment today, but in a month, they'll all be connected. See, Saturn is on all the other planets, okay? So in May of 2025, Saturn and Neptune are 4 degrees apart. In June, they're 1 degree apart. Well, that's pretty close. July, 1 degree apart. In August, their peak, both at 1 degree, Saturn and Neptune, exact conjunction. And looky here, Uranus trying with Pluto, only 2 degrees apart. So coming up in August, we've got the tightest of the year of these 2 major alignments, the 4 BPMs, Uranus, Pluto, and Saturn and Neptune. It's pretty exciting. Then, if we look at this another way on the transit timeline, okay, we see right here, it's April, May, June, July, and then October, and then 2026. You see all through April, right here, May, and to October, it's Saturn with Uranus, it's Saturn with Neptune, Saturn with Pluto, Uranus with Pluto, Uranus with Neptune, and Neptune with Pluto. This, which peaks in the summer. So this is a great time to dive into oneself, either in meditation, psychedelics, do some Groff breath work, some other modality to really open up your psyche. The cosmic planets, the 4 outer planets are all in alignment together, all dancing around in the psyche, waiting to be recognized. So give them a try. Eh? Give them a try. Then the 27th, towards the end of the month, it's the new moon, sun conjunct moon. They're exact at 11:43. Okay, on the 27th. If you notice, this new moon, just like the full moon before, is sun, moon, Mars, and Pluto. just to finish off April with power, the full moon with Mars and Pluto. Just when you thought it was safe to get back in the water, here's Trump's transits. Now, Trump, he's part of life now. Most people are just going to react to what he says, what the media says about him. But not me, not us. I'm standing ahead. I'm going to see what he's got archetypally and prepare myself and learn more about archetypal activity. So we notice. Okay, here's his transits, Trump's transits, April 2025. He's got Mars right there, conjunct Saturn. Oh, Mars force, Saturn resistance. He's trying to do stuff. He's frustrated beyond belief. Mars conjunct Saturn. He's got Jupiter. Now, here's some nice stuff he has, actually. He's got Jupiter on Uranus. Jupiter is about expansion, and Uranus is about breakthroughs. So he's breaking through in some way with what he's doing. And also, if you see here too, that Jupiter is in a trine to Jupiter, and they're pretty exact. So that's good fortune on top of good fortune. So it looks like Trump's going to get some stuff done for sure in his own way. We've got Saturn. He's got Saturn right there in a trine to Saturn. Saturn limits and restricts. Okay, so he's got limitation with limitation. Bam, bam. Fight, fight. He's the fighter. And Saturn trine Venus. Okay. Could be tough, tough love. Venus with Saturn. And he's got Uranus, BPM 4, the planet of freedom and liberation, in a sextile to Saturn, which limits and restricts. It could be the old versus the new, Uranus with Saturn. So there's Trump's transits. There they are for March. I'm going to have a collection of them. We'll talk about it someday. And one more thing before we go. Here's today's horoscope. See what's happening. We notice again the Venus and Neptune conjunction, and then Mars and Pluto opposition right there. Okay. Watch what happens when we go a year ahead. Next year, okay, we're going to have a Mars and Neptune together. We see we still have the Uranus and Pluto conjunction, Uranus and Pluto trine, and we still have Saturn and Neptune together. We go one more year, 27. We notice we have the same Uranus and Pluto conjunction right there, Uranus and Pluto, and Saturn and Neptune still in conjunction. And one more year, 28. We notice still that Uranus is with Pluto and that Saturn has moved on its way, way past Neptune. So thanks for joining me, everyone, at World Transits Today, covering two major alignments, Saturn with Neptune and Uranus with Pluto. I'm Art Granoff. Remember, you can book time with me at Reference Astrology.